It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
What is going on, my friends? Fox here, FXRC. And in light of springtime coming up, and springtime is bash time, and with the release of, or coming release of the Armor Kraton 8S EXP, I figured I better get a video of this out now. Probably kind of irrelevant after the EXP almost, but this is obviously so much more than that, but anyway, still kind of wanted to just get a video of this out now, just before I'm out bashing and stuff like that. So this is my Armor Kraton 8S. This started its life out as a roller, and I kind of went with the whole EXB theme. The colors kind of reminiscent anyway. Obviously doesn't have the graphics, but I had a look in mind, shall we say, because I kind of did make it my own EXP, right? This is something I do right off the bat, I guess, talk about just how big this truck really is. This is a big truck, and you really don't hear, I think, enough about how big this thing really is. It's a 30-pound truck. 30 pounds 1 ounces as it sits right now, no batteries. That's a pretty heavy truck. It started its life out I want to say 24 pounds, like 4 ounces. So I added almost 6 pounds of upgrades to this. That's quite a bit. That's quite a bit in bashing terms. So hopefully with the release of the new EXP, there will be also the upgraded parts that you hopefully will also still be compatible with the V4, with this version of the Kraton. So more than likely, Armor's really good about that. So super excited because I don't believe I would get the EXP. I don't see. I pretty much got most of it. If I can just get some of the key components of it to put onto this, I think there wouldn't be a point in really. I don't know, but we'll see. Those tires look pretty sweet too. I wouldn't mind getting some. So anyway, speaking of tires, I have these beautiful Proline Badland MX 4.3 43s. A big tire. You got to drill them out, and you got to like take the little nubs off here on the outside, just to get this lug on, so you can get your wrench on there. But once you do that, they go right on, and they look super sweet. They're definitely a heavy tire. I probably, if I'm going to start really jumping and stuff, I might even throw or even look for a lighter tire, just because I think it will fare better with a lighter tire jumping. But I don't know, maybe I'll throw the X-Max tires back on it to jump it. But these are amazing tires for running. I mean, really, even I do jump my X-Max with these same tires. So now, what was I going for on this truck is probably just the ultimate badass Kraton 8S I could possibly conceive or come up with, that is obviously subject to the aftermarket parts that are available. And this is what I got. So I definitely think it came out super sweet. Like I said, I did kind of have a certain look in mind with the whole EXP theme color. I think it's kind of cool. The idea that I, in a way, made my own. So anyway, as always, I'm going to get you over the top. Looking down, you can kind of see a lot better of what I got going on. All right, and would you look at that? Absolutely beautiful truck. This Kraton 8S just came out so nice. It's a lot to take in. I guess most of you probably know what you're looking at and how special this really is. And it's pretty awesome that this thing started out as a $400 US roller or slider, I guess, because I didn't really use the tires or anything. And then obviously I went from there. So as always, I'm gonna start out with electronics. I went with a Hobbywing Max 5 ESC and a Hobbywing 800 kV. This is the 56 113. Some people refer to them as the soda can motors. This is a big motor. At the time of when I started this build, because I started this a little while ago now, this probably would have been like the pinnacle of what would have been a really awesome system to put in here. Probably arguably one of the better systems, best anyway, to put in here. But since then, obviously, if I was probably going to try to make the ultimate one now, I would have probably gone with the XLX2 right here, and then probably that, where did that puppy go, 800 kV motor, 1100 kV Castle motor. That probably would have been the ultimate system. You know, I still might stick this in here. I think this Max 5 in the 800 kV is going to do really well. So I don't know, I other plans maybe for the XLX2. So at the time, this was the pinnacle, I guess, the best, I think, most powerful anyway to put in here. So that's kind of, you know, that's what I went with. Hobbywing is just, they're super reliable, really good system, just very reliable. I mean, what else can you say about Hobbywing? They just make really reliable motors and ESCs. For a servo, I have a Spectrum S9120BL, and somebody should tell Spectrum to maybe work on the names of their servos. But this is I want to say probably it's a 5th scale servo. With the Kraton, you can actually get the different motor mounts for the 6th scale or 5th scale servos. If you buy the servo mount kit, I think it comes with both of them. Obviously, I went with the 5th scale servo to get the most servo as possible in there, and I want to say that that's probably Spectrum's, got to be Spectrum's top of the line best 5th scale servo, and it might be, as far as like the specs go, one of the strongest 5th scale servos that I've come across for the price anyway, because this servo is not cheap. I want to say somewhere around 250 US, something like that, 240 US. It was pretty high. So I went with the high torque servo, and there's a high speed version which is slightly less torque but with considerably more speed, but it is significantly less torque. So this one at 7.4 volts is 1209 ounce-inches of torque. This is what they claim, Spectrum anyway. So, and at yeah, that's pretty so 1200 at 7.4, that's crazy. So 1453 ounces at 8.4 volts. That's crazy. And so, and 0.23 at 7.4 and 0.21 at 8.4. So I mean, you know, it's still pretty fast. It's fast enough. That's just crazy powerful. So we'll see if it really, I guess, is that strong. I'm sure it should be pretty good anyway. As I'm trying to get you up there and so you can see it, but it's because it's buried underneath the ESC, it's really hard to see in there. But at first, because there's no specs on the on the servo saying anything about whether it was waterproof or not, or water resistant of any kind, and there really was nothing. So I opened it up to kind of do some waterproofing on my own, and it seemed to have seals everywhere they should be, for there to be some sort of water resistance anyway. I went ahead and corrosion exit anyway, just to be safe, but I do think that there's got to be some kind of water resistance in that servo, and at that price point it should well be. So and then I have this on my DX5C, and that is about it for electronics. So one of the absolute best, my favorite upgrades to do is and any parts really that these company makes, you really cannot go wrong. But especially for the Armas, and like I said, I mean, just any parts they make, you really can't go wrong. One of my all-time favorite upgrades companies is M2C Racing. They just make absolutely, look at that beautiful M2C chassis. Look at that. And they, like I said, they just make absolutely epic parts for any RC car they make a part for. You cannot go wrong to buy it. They just really they do what they claim to do, and they just perform very well. They're always very nicely made. I've never had fitment problems. Just really nicely done. So I have the M2C chassis, obviously. M2C, the rear blocks for the front and the rear, and the rear, and the front rear, and the rear front, and the front blocks. You really can't see them very well because they're right in there, but you can kind of see the rear one there a little bit, maybe the front one a little bit. They're in there. I have the M2C little, there's this little tiny little, whatever that thing is right there, that little pivot for your servo saver is M2C. And actually, I think that's going to be one of the things on the EXB, is that little part's aluminum. Yeah, so this part, I have the M2C motor mount, as well as this M2C brace for your chassis brace here. It's just a mount for that, is all M2C. But I believe in the EXB that is also going to be, this part right here is going to be aluminum now. So that's kind of cool that they're doing that. What else is M2C motor mount brace? I have the ESC tray. This makes just screwing down your ESC super easy. I don't know, I mean, it's probably not crazy necessary, but you can kind of see a little bit there that my ESC is screwed onto, and then it screws down to your servo mount. Let's see, servo pivot, shock shafts, and so M2C shock shafts as well as pistons. You can't really tell, but they're shock shafts and pistons are M2C. That's just I guess something that does tend to bend on these. Hopefully those M2Cs. I know that is one of the upgrades also on the EXB, is going to be a thicker diameter shock shafts. So, but I don't know how that, I don't think that's going to be something that's going to be compatible, because it's probably a whole different shock end or something. So I don't know how that's going to work. But I'd just be more interested to get the A-arms and the H-arms and stuff, the front and rear, on the EXB. If they're thicker than these ones, then that's going to be a score for sure. So anyway, that's about it for the M2C chassis, the bracing, motor mount, ESC tray, the servo pivot, and the shock shafts and pistons. So the next awesome big upgrade on this puppy right here are these absolutely beautiful Vitavon bulkheads. Look at that thing in the front, as well as, I don't know if you're gonna see the one in the rear there. Look at that beautiful Vitavon bulkhead. Super nice. You know, and these things went in flawlessly. There was no issue with the lining up of the aftermarket chassis, nothing, just they went in really nice. I think the stock had one shim already on the differential, and I think I might have had to add one, so just to have the two shims, just to get rid of any slop, but that's just to be expected. Besides, they worked absolutely flawlessly. They went in like they were meant to be there, and that is just a huge upgrade for rear bulkhead, because just like on the 8 scale Armas, yeah, upgrading these bulkheads is such a huge, I mean, it's just the hub of the rear and the hub of the front. So everything literally is screwed to that bulkhead. And just having that aluminum really toughens this puppy up. So, anyway, Vidavon, I also have the Vidavon Servo Saver right there. And this is one of the reasons why I love Vidavon, because they do things that other people don't necessarily do. You know, nobody else is making that an aluminum servo saver for this. So that's awesome that they did that, and it absolutely beautiful. It went together perfectly. I mean, it's really simple kind of design anyway. So, but everything fit together awesome, and now, instead of plastic onto your 15T servo, it's aluminum. So obviously that's going to be stronger. And that is it for Vidavon. So I guess probably my number 2 go-to upgrade company or whatever, it would absolutely be probably Hot Racing. I have so many aftermarket Hot Racing parts, probably more than any other aftermarket part, you know, and they just work very well. I can't really think I've had any issues ever really with any Hot Racing parts. They look nice and they perform very, very well. So I love them. So because I've had such great luck, then I just will always stick to it. I know other companies make certain things, like, look at these beautiful Hot Racing steering blocks in the front, and then all Hot Racing aluminum rear hubs. Look at those things. Beautiful. And I love how they just incorporate the carbon fiber, you know, and even that little tiny bit of weight. It's a little weight, it's something. Any kind of weight you can save on something that you're going to launch into the air and land, it's just going to be a better scenario to have less weight. It's physics. So anyway, so I got the Hot Racing all 4 corners. I also have the Hot Racing on all the shock caps are all Hot Racing, as well as the collars, and it comes as a whole. You get the whole rear shock cap as well, and then I think the collars are separate, and then it comes and you get the shock, and that gets rid of that bladder, and it makes it what is it called, emulsion or something. So it's just bladderless. It's a bladderless opposed. You know, and I've had a few of these now, and they've worked awesome, just flawlessly. Like I said, I've had really, really good luck with Hot Racing. So pretty cool upgrade are these. This thing is heavy. Even without the stuff, it still is heavy. T-Bone Racing A-arms skids for the front as well as the rear. Look at those things. So I don't necessarily think those are going to somehow stop the A-arms and the H-arms from breaking. I don't, but I mean, if it does, awesome. They really aren't that much. I don't remember exactly how much they cost, but I knew they really weren't that much. And I mean, if they help, awesome. But I think that they're kind of down far enough where it's not quite where these arms end up breaking. But I'm not exactly sure, so we'll see. They look super, super awesome. So next on the list is the Dead Center, this aluminum transmission by GPM. It's a transmission case, shall we say. And, you know, it's okay. I almost feel like it was lighter than the stock composite. It's like a cast aluminum almost, I think. And, you know, to be honest, the fitment was not great. I had to really fight it to mount to the motor mount as well as to the chassis. It just did not want to go. But ultimately I did eventually get it in there. It's just the fitment was not great at all. You know, that being said, now that it's in, it works great, and I mean, it looks nice. It's not going to really add any performance value at all, really. You know, being in the middle there, I just don't, you know, I mean, it looks nice, and maybe it'll dissipate a little bit of heat, but it's really just for looks. So, I mean, GPM, but they did also make, and I have here, is the GPM steering rack, as well as the whole top plate. Now, M2C also makes the steering rack, and at the time of fitting this up with aftermarket parts, M2C was out of stock on that part. So, and I noticed that GPM did have it. It was actually relatively expensive, as GPM typically is cheaper than a lot of other companies, because you know, you really can tell on the quality of the parts. You know, I'm not saying so. As far as the steering rack, this thing works, you know, as it should. So hopefully it holds up, and it'll be awesome. And with the M2C steering rack, steering assembly, it doesn't come with this top plate, whereas the GPM did have. So now this whole top plate here is aluminum for your upper arms and stuff, pins into there. So it's nice that they have that. These holes here are supposed to be threaded. You can kind of see in there. See, and those holes are supposed to be threaded to allow for your rock guards or your mud guards that go here, and they actually screw into these. But the GPM, these are not threaded, and that's just, you know, some of the things that you kind of run into with GPM is just the fitment's not always that great. Things that should be threaded aren't. Stuff like that. It's little things. So it's not a big deal. I mean, I can drill it out and I can thread it myself if I really want to put the rock guards on. I do kind of want to run them, I think. So I will end up doing that. And that is it for the GPM. Now, I did end up going ahead and putting on sway bars. So I got sway bars in the front, as well as, you see in there, sway bars in the rear. Because I don't believe that's something that came on the stock. Wasn't on this when I got the slider. This was a used slider, so I don't know if they took them off or not. But I'm pretty sure they are putting it on the EXB, but I don't think it came on the original Kraton 8S. So it was definitely an awesome thing to have sway bars on this. I do think that's definitely going to help with the stability of the driving. So I'm super psyched to see how this bad boy is going to handle now. Like I said, though, it is heavy. 30 pounds is not a light truck. That's without the batteries. So this thing should be an animal, an absolute animal. But what a marvelous machine this thing is. It's just beautiful. Came out so nice. I cannot wait to tear into it. So I think that is about it for the upgrades. I did have one more that I did from GPM that didn't go so well, and that was the actual shock towers. Aluminum shock towers with the Kraton 8S. In theory, it sounds great, but in reality, not so much. You know, you gotta support your shock on like one 3M or 4M, one 4M bolt that goes in here, and there's just no way. Opposed to the whole this whole double shear mount that they have on the Arma, that stock is just a far superior design than just having one single 4M bolt screwed holding your shock. That's just never going to hold up, and it's just going to bend that bolt. So in theory, like I said, it was kind of cool. You know, you had the aluminum mounts here for your tower to tower braces and stuff like that, but in reality, it just will not work for jumping. I just do not see it working at all. So, and it's just, they're heavy too, so I don't know. You're better off with the plastic. Save your money. I mean, unless you're doing speed runs and you just want it to look really nice and you're just blasting around and not really doing any jumps, and this probably would be okay. But if you're going to take any jumps, don't waste your money. Well, there you have it, my friends. That is my Arma Kraton 8S project. Not too bad, seeing as how it started out as a used slider, I guess, and roller. It definitely think it came out pretty nice. I cannot wait for winter is almost over. It's almost spring, and I can finally get out and start really bashing again. This being such a big truck, I didn't want to just take this out in my backyard. It really wouldn't have done it much justice. I wanted to bring it somewhere with some real open space, and I could, just give this thing the treatment it deserves. So definitely look forward to that video. I want that first time I'm going to share it with you guys. So it'll all be doing it together. And let me know if, I'm curious, if do you have one, and are you going to also, would you get the EXP, or would you just get the upgraded parts, hopefully, and not, hopefully maybe they'll come out with a EXP 8S Outcast, because that I definitely would get. But let me know. And if you've watched this long, thank you so much. I cannot tell you what it means to me that you allow me into your life and watch my videos. It really means a lot to me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. And look for the next one. FXRC. Bye.